Hey guys, I'm Mona and I'm the Deputy Chief Editor for Content at the YSJ, and this is a week in my life. So every day I typically wake up at 7 o'clock for school and then take the tube to school, which takes me around 1 hour to get to. I live in London, so that's actually not too bad. And a bit of background about me, I'm in my final year of high school, so I'm currently taking my A-levels in maths, further maths, physics and chemistry with the hope of studying physics next year at uni. So we just had physics and a free period, but physics was cancelled as our teacher wasn't here. And so now we're walking to mechanics. And this is Pippa and Gigi, who are in all my classes with me. So I've just finished weights, which was not very long, but after yesterday was quite painful. So I'm just heading to lunch now. So on Wednesday, everybody in the senior school has compulsory PE. So as you might have guessed, mine is rowing. I wasn't able to get any clips of me training on the water, but I was in a single as I am most of the time at the moment. I really enjoyed the rowing session and it was really fun. And after rowing, I just go home since that's the end of my school day. And since I had a test tomorrow, I just did some revision. I'm on the way to school from the tube station now. It's one of the last days of term before the Easter break, so it's a bit of a crazy day. I have a physics test after lunch and also some assessments to hand in for maths and to do in class. So not going to be that interesting in terms of the stuff we're doing in school, but I'm a bit busy. So in the mornings, I either have assembly or form time. So since it's a Thursday, I had form time today, and this is my form room. And since I'm an A-level student, I have around 8 periods a day, and most of my periods are double periods. So my first 2 periods of today were organic chemistry. Okay, so we are heading to maths with Gigi again, my partner in literally everything. We had a really fun organic lesson because at the end we played werewolf, which Gigi, is that not the most superior game in the world?
Yes, it was amazing. Also, I was so good this round. I
was really sad.
I didn't win, but I felt like I won.
Yeah, I mean you were a pretty good liar there.
Thank you.
You were less suspicious than normal.
Thank you, yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean she's really suspicious normally, but not this time, so that was good.
It was great.
It was really sad. I thought I was the wolf, but then I was switched. So I wasn't the wolf, but I was lying as if I was the wolf the whole time. And I actually would have won because nobody knew. Well, I mean, somebody obviously did, but not me. Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to maths, where I've actually finished the assessment for, so probably just going to revise for our physics test after lunch. See you guys later. So lunches at my school are amazing, definitely the favourite part of my day, and I'm sure for everybody else also. There's tons of options, and since today's lunch was Easter themed, as we're going on the Easter holiday soon, we had cupcakes with mini eggs also. So this is what everybody has for lunch today. And we have different options every day. So Laura, what's your favorite?
The very confusing but very delicious omelette wrap, which contains
Okay. Poppy, do you have one?
Probably the spinach ravioli.
Yeah, that's
very good.
as seen on your plate. Anybody else?
Probably jerk chicken.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love the jerk.
Yeah. So I'm currently sitting outside. It's actually quite warm, surprisingly. This is like one of the only green spaces we have in school. And you guys have seen it before as I walked into school. And it's around 5:30ish, so I stayed today after school to do my maths assessment, but also I wanted to stay so that I can show you guys around now so that you can kind of see what school looks like without everybody here. So I'm going to take you around all my favourite places in school. I mean, this isn't our whole school, but just kind of the places that I like, or the places that have kind of like influenced me throughout my time here. So first stop on the tour of my school is the Great Hall, which is kind of the most central part of the school in the main building. And probably one of the oldest and nicest parts of the school also. I really love the architecture here. So previously we would have assemblies here 3 times a week, but now as you can see there's lockers for the lower 2 years. Unfortunately my year aren't really allowed here anymore unless we're going to a class in the Great Hall. So as you can see there's classrooms on either side. And previously when we had assemblies, the organ would always be playing before, which was really nice. And also I just love how the organ looks from the outside. So yeah, that's the Great Hall. It's just a generally really nice place. So just outside of the Great Hall is what we call the Marble, which is just a hallway, but probably named that because of its floor. And so as you walk towards the left, you can see this statue of John Collett, who was the founder of the boys' school. And then we're just going to head to the library. So the first stop is the old library. Okay, so this is old library. So we're currently in the old library, but next to me, through these doors essentially, is the Warburg Library. When I came to visit the school initially, I saw the old library and absolutely fell in love, and kind of this was the reason why I wanted to come to St. Paul's. So definitely my absolute favorite place in school. I'm a huge book lover, so this is like heaven for me, and I'm really glad I get to study here. Unfortunately this year, due to COVID, my year group can't study in here because we have like a separate space to study since we're in the senior school, but I mean it's still amazing to just be able to come in here. So the Warburg Library is probably my favourite library in the whole school. It's very similar in feeling to the old library, but here you have Russian and history books, and then books donated by Warburg himself, and also old books. So the Warburg collection is super cool because essentially it was donated by a man, so this was his whole collection essentially. And when you open the books, you see his markings throughout the books. Yeah, you can see like any annotations he's made, and in front of every book is a sticker saying that are like dedicated by Warburg. It's really cool. I'll show you one of the books. 1 second. For example, here you have Dr. Zhivago. And you can see all the books are like kind of older editions. They're super cool. So you can see, for example, some of the annotations right there. And then also you can see the donation sticker. So yeah, like you can, when you open the book, look, you have like a thing from a newspaper. It's just really cool to be able to like use like old books after somebody who like actually cares for them and really loves them. This is a collection of really old books, and actually I'm pretty sure that these are locked and that you have to ask the librarian to open them for you.
but I don't know if you guys can see, but yeah, these are really cool. You can ask the librarian to open them, you can kind of use them. The only thing is you can't take them out of school. Every other book you can borrow from school and take home, but not those books. So this is the Collett Library, which is kind of the more modern library. On the bottom floor is like our fiction books, and then on the top floor you have science books. So this window seat was my favorite place to come and sit to just read during lunch times, or I don't know, do some work on my laptop. So yeah, I love to come here also. So if you continue down the hall from the libraries, you reach the music block, which is made up of some larger performance spaces as well as kind of smaller practice rooms. So a really cool thing about the music block is that Holst, the clay figure here, was a director of music at my school, and so the stained glass window is of the planets, a piece that he wrote, and it's something that we play quite a lot, so it's good that I enjoy playing it. So we're just heading into the singing hall, which is a really nice kind of hall for performances, but it's also where the senior school has their Friday lectures, which is when a speaker comes in every week to talk about a different topic. So you can see we have an electrical organ and also a really nice Steinway piano, which unfortunately is covered. But yeah, the singing hall is essentially a great space for performances, and also where we have our weekly orchestra practices for my year group at the moment. And so heading up the stairs, we reach the music practice rooms. So there's quite a lot of these, maybe around 30 overall. There's a recording studio also, which is amazing. Yeah, and the music practice rooms are a great place to just come and practice during the day, or where people have their music lessons. So yeah, this is an example of a practice room. See, it has a piano. This piano is a grand piano, which is nicer, but yeah, the general layout. It's essentially like a wing of practice rooms. And people generally have like lessons at school, or sometimes like me, just want to come and practice in school. We have like loads of music clubs, so the practice room is really appreciated by a lot of people. Okay, moving on. Okay, so we're now back on the marble, and so you can see here these are like walls where names are engraved of people who got scholarships to university or of previous head girls. And now we're going to head downstairs from the marble to the concourse, which is where we have sports lockers and also the dining group. This is the lunch hall. So this is normally where our lunch is served and where most people come to eat lunch. Also, obviously, before lots of people would come to study in the lunch hall if they were younger. And also, I'll point it out at the back, but we used to have like a tuck shop there. But yeah, COVID kind of put a dent in that, but hopefully it will be back soon. So that's where the tuck shop used to be, at the very back, but at the moment it's not operating. Okay, so we've just left the main building, which was like the Great Hall, music block, library, all of those things. So behind me, that glass building there is the T block, so that's where the theatre is, that's currently being used for rehearsals. Also, that's where any language classrooms are, or any kind of, I guess, English lessons, which is still a language. Yeah, I think that's it. And then this right behind me is the science department, so I spend a lot of time here. On the first floor is physics, second floor chemistry,
and third floor we don't talk about. No, I'm just joking, it's biology. Behind me, this is the Rosalind Franklin building, and over there is the IT block. Okay, and then I'm not sure if you guys can see this, but kind of on the main roof of the building, so like up there, that's where all the art studios are. So we have like a whole floor dedicated just to art, which is amazing for all the arty people. I'm not one of them, but lots of people are really arty. I can't take you up there now because lots of people are working there, and I didn't want to disturb them. But essentially, any kind of art studio that you want, you name it, it's there. So there's a massive art department. I just don't really spend much time there, I guess. And then I'm walking back up to where I spend a lot of my time, which is the garden building. And that's kind of the building for history and geography, but also for the senior school. So this is the IT block right behind me. And then I'm walking up to, that's the science block there. Hey. Sorry. Okay. And then, so behind me is the garden building right there. So this is at the bottom over there is the common room for the senior school. And then you have the geography and the history block. But also it's kind of just because it's COVID at the moment, so this is basically where the senior school have their lessons. But before you had like blocks split up according to subjects. And then this is the sports hall. And that's essentially it. So it's around 6 o'clock nearly, not quite, but I'm just going home now from school. I hope you guys enjoyed the tour of my school, and that was kind of interesting to see what my school looks like. It's in central London, so it's quite compact, I guess you would say. A lot of schools in countryside are much bigger in the UK, but I guess that's a general trend everywhere. But yeah, I love my school. It's really cool, and we have amazing facilities that are like, yeah, just amazing. So I still can't believe that, like, yeah, I get to come here every day, and definitely staying home over lockdown made me appreciate school so much more. So swiping out. And so this is me leaving school. So I'm just going to go walk by the front. Sorry, I have a really heavy bag. So I'm just walking out of school, and this is what the front of my school looks like. Yeah, it's really pretty, and there's a really pretty tree right there at the moment, so that's really nice. So it's a Friday morning now, last day of school for the Easter holidays. So I'm a bit tired from last night, but nearly there. Just have mechanics in the morning, and then I have just essentially form time and assembly. So I went to Sainsbury's this morning to buy some cookies for our form time. Yeah, because we're kind of having like a party. I doubt we'll be doing any work today in mechanics either, so it should be quite a fun time. And then I'm going to go out with friends for lunch. So, do you want to be alert? Okay, you make me seem less lonely. I meant everything on my own. So we've just left school. This is Poppy, like one of my best friends. And yeah, we're heading out for lunch. So I'm going to take you through London from Hammersmith to Notting Hill. It's really nice. I love Notting Hill, but yeah, it's really cool. We got lunch, but it's miserable and raining. Yeah. But we're finally in Notting Hill, So Notting Hill is really famous because you can see there's loads of coloured houses. Essentially the houses in Notting Hill are really cool. Kind of like, I guess it has like a similar reputation to kind of Camden in that way, like cool houses. And then there's also the Notting Hill Carnival, which I mean obviously isn't happening this year, but does normally happen once a year, which it's in the summer, which I think Notting Hill is really famous for. Notting Hill, also the movie, like what is it called? Like the one with, is it Julia Roberts in it?
I'm not sure, I think so.
Anyway, so that's like the bookshop in Notting Hill. And then here we are like essentially in the market. I don't know if you guys can see, but this is like the market at Notting Hill. It's really cool. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Oh, Poppy, your prep bag. Do you need help? Poppy's prep bag. I feel like we need a silence to warn it. Like, that's just so depressing. Really depressing. Honestly, like English weather turns like this, and you're like, the lovely sunny day is like gone, disappeared. But you know, at least I am showing the real experience of London. Yeah, so this over there, the house with like the paintings at the back, that one, that's my favourite house. Yeah, and then I just think it's so cool. Yeah, and so you can see like even like the residential roads that we're like walking through now, like the houses are all different colours, and it like adds, I guess, a lot to like the feeling of Notting Hill. It's really cool. Yeah, and that's Notting Hill.
So today is actually not a Saturday. I ended up being ill over the weekend, so I didn't really film. But since it's the holidays, I thought, you know what, every day is essentially like a weekend day now. So I'm just going to film these 2 days in my holiday. It's currently a Wednesday, and so when I was ill, I wrote up a revision plan, and I'm essentially just going to follow my plan for today, which is essentially doing some revision for every subject. Yeah, and then I have some work for the YSJ also. Yesterday I actually had a meeting with Prayasi to catch up on some things and chat through some of the things that we'll be doing, which are super exciting. So definitely look out for any new initiatives coming up. And then today I have a meeting with the videography team to discuss like some videos that we want to do to help people when they transition to the YSJ, so when they join essentially, and to like get them to grips with the Discord. And also I'm going to film one of the how to edit like videos. So I've just taken my dog Luna out on a walk in the Common, which is like 5 minutes walk from my house. It's a massive like woodland area, one of my favourite places in Wimbledon. It's such a cool place, and it's really nice to have like a massive woodland kind of like in the middle of London, which is great. So the voice call for the videography starts like in 2 minutes, so I'm just going to join into that and then take Luna home and start working on the videos. So I've just finished rowing training. It's like 10:15 now. It was a very early morning today, and I'm running to catch the train now, which leaves in like 7 minutes. So it's a really nice day today, and it was fun training, though it was like very long. We did, I think, like maybe 2 hours on the water today,
then like taking in the boats and everything. So it's been a bit of a long morning and I'm a bit hungry, so I'm going to have my banana and then catch the train home and start doing some more revision.
So I'm back at home now and I have some super exciting news because Dr. Bryce Stewart agreed to do an interview with the YSJ on the theme of the documentary Seaspiracy. If you haven't seen it, it's about essentially kind of like exposing the practices of the fishing industry. It's really, really interesting and it's on Netflix, and it was very shocking for me to see as I had like no idea. I hadn't known anything about the subject really before. And I found it really, really interesting and it changed my views on a lot of things. So I kind of started searching up stuff and found that it was like a bit, I guess, a bit controversial in the scientific like community about like the scientific claims that it had made. And so I saw that Dr. Bryce Stewart was tweeting about it, and I thought it would be super cool to interview him and see what his views are, as he's, you know, an expert in the field, and kind of like see what he thought about the documentary. So I'm really excited for that. That's going to happen in a couple of days. But now I'm about to get started on a maths paper before lunch, and then I'm going to do, this one is for pure maths, single maths, and then after lunch I'm going to do a paper for further pure, and then I'm going to do some more revision for physics and chemistry. And some exciting news for me is that my mum went to the Slovak shop, and so I now have a bag of like Slovak sweets. So I'm super excited to eat this, as like I haven't had any since December, which is when we were in Slovakia. So really looking forward to eating this. I'm going to start on maths paper now. So it's around 11:30 now and I've just finished studying. So after dinner I went and did some more revision. This time it was chemistry. I was revising modern analytical techniques, which is actually super fun because it's like kind of doing detective and puzzle work all in one, so I quite enjoy it. But yeah, then I did some stretches because I was feeling a bit stiff. And I think now I'm going to go to bed. My original plan was to rewatch Seaspiracy so that I'm like a bit more prepared for the interview on Monday, but I think I'm a bit too tired for that now, so I'm just going to go to bed and leave that till tomorrow. But thank you guys so much for following me and my week, and I hope it's been interesting and relatively fun to see me being super embarrassed out in public. Yeah, but there's some super cool videos and interviews coming up, so please stay tuned for those and definitely look out for those. And thank you guys for watching.